Players from both countries will be able to compete as neutral athletes if they meet certain conditions. Wimbledon went a step further than Moscow's response to its invasion of Ukraine in 2022, lifting the ban on Russian and Belarusian players, allowing them to compete as neutral athletes in the grass court Grand Slam this year. Players from the two countries will be able to compete in the tournament in July if they meet certain conditions. These include refraining from supporting the occupation and not receiving government funding from their home country. The All England Lawn Tennis Club, which runs Wimbledon, said on Friday that competitors also cannot receive sponsorship from state-run or state-controlled companies. The same conditions will apply to other English tournaments. We continue to fully condemn the illegal occupation of Russia, and our heartfelt support is with the Ukrainian people, said club president Ian Hewitt. This was an incredibly difficult decision that should not be taken lightly or given too much consideration for those who will be affected, he said. Considering all the factors, we believe that these are the most appropriate arrangements for this year's championships. Last year, Wimbledon banned players from Russia and Moscow ally Belarus after the invasion of Ukraine, saying it was the only viable option under British government guidance. Wimbledon and the Lawn Tennis Association, the game's governing body in England, was heavily sanctioned after imposing harsh sanctions last year. Both bodies were fined and stripped of Wimbledon's ranking points. The tournament said conditions this year were improved through dialogue with the government. British Culture Minister Lucy Fraser said the government maintains its position that Russian and Belarusian athletes representing their nation should not be allowed to participate in local and international sporting events, but supports the All England Club's approach. Individual, self-funded Russian and Belarusian athletes can compete in the UK provided they follow our guidance on neutrality, Fraser said. She said, "The AELTC and LTA should never have been fined by international tennis tours for taking a principled stance against Russian aggression," he added. The Tennis Professionals Association and the Women's Tennis Association welcomed the decision. Governing bodies said a concerted effort across sports is needed to reach a workable solution that preserves the fairness of the game. "We are delighted that all players will have the opportunity to compete at Wimbledon and LTA events this summer," the federation said in a joint statement. "This remains an extremely difficult situation. While we reiterate our unequivocal condemnation of Russia's war against Ukraine, we would like to thank Wimbledon and LTA for their efforts to achieve this outcome," ADP-WTA said. Wimbledon was the only Grand Slam to ban opponents from Russia and Belarus, a staging area for the Kremlin's forces heading to Ukraine. Players competed in the round as individual athletes with no national affiliations in other majors. Two Russians are in the top 10 in men's standings: Daniil Medvedev and Andrei Rublev. Among women, Belarusian Aryna Sabalenka is second in the world. She won the Australian Open in January to become the first neutral Grand Slam champion. Russia's Daria Kasatkina ranks 8th in the world. Wimbledon is scheduled to be held from July 3 to 16.